Dead Alive, or Brain Dead, is a 1992 horror comedy film directed by Peter Jackson, who you might know better from having helmed the very successful Lord of the Rings franchises and the somewhat less successful Hobbit trilogy. This film concerns young Lionel, a man who lives in New Zealand with his overbearing, shrewish mother. Lionel's life is incredibly depressing, with him having lived under his mother's care ever since his father mysteriously drowned when he was a young child. One day, while out shopping, he meets a beautiful young woman who has been told by a fortune teller that she and Lionel are meant to fall in love. Their bliss is soon interrupted when, whilst on a date at the local zoo, Lionel's mother, who has tagged along because of her domineering personality, is attacked by a rabid Sumatran rat monkey. And no, I'm not making that up. That has been recently acquired from Skull Island. Lionel's mother eventually develops sickening sores and eventually becomes a mindless zombie. Still being the faithful son, Lionel attempts to keep his mother drugged up and in the basement while wacky hijinks ensue. Brain Dead, or Dead Alive, is a very dark comedy with humongous amounts of blood and gore to really an absurd degree. The characters within the film are all interesting and hilarious in unique ways. For example, the town coroner is very unsubtly implied to be a Nazi war criminal hiding out, and the town priest knows kung fu, which he uses to fight off some attacking zombies. And there's even a zombie baby who runs around in the movie and gets beaten up by Lionel, which he explains as being caused by hyperactivity, which has caused the zombie's bloodlust and taste for human flesh. I kind of like this movie mainly because it's John Carpenter. It's Peter Jackson before he became a serious filmmaker. Movies like this, or Bad Taste, or The Frighteners, all showcased Peter Jackson when he had a lot of imagination and a bit of irreverence to him before he took on the Lord of the Rings series. And I'm not trying to bash Lord of the Rings. I think it's a great series, but as it is, it's not an original work. It is an adaptation of somebody else's novels. This is an original story, and quite an entertaining one at that. The movie that I was most reminded of whilst watching this film is Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead 2, which is also about a young man who has to fight off the attacking undead. The difference here being that the zombies are not caused by the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, but instead the bite of the Sumatran rat monkey. Some of the scenes in this movie, though, I have to admit, are not for the faint of heart or those with weak stomachs. For example, when Lionel's mother reemerges at the end of the film and is a grotesque, giant, overinflated, naked monster, it'll put you off eating for a while. Maybe forever. But that's good for dieting, so if you want to lose some weight, watch Dead Alive daily. The music in this movie is basically kind of standard B-movie stuff, with some 50s rock and roll thrown in, because that's when it's set. And that's sort of the tone that the movie is trying to emulate, at least initially, is 50s B movies before we get to the all-out insanity of the film's last 30 minutes, including when the protagonist straps a lawnmower to his chest and charges through a crowd of zombies. In conclusion, Dead Alive, or Brain Dead, is an interesting part of Peter Jackson's filmography, and something that everyone who's a horror or comedy fan really should take a look at.